Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Dr. Jaws here. Sorry I'm a little late, but tonight we are covering a bullhead shark species. First bullhead shark we've covered in a while. This is Heterodontus omanensis, the Oman bullhead shark. So, not a lot of information on the species. This is a relatively new one. Well, I guess new, but like compared to all sharks that have ever been discovered, 2005 is fairly recent-ish. Like, yeah, just only 20 years. What's up, Quackers? Welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. And hope things are going well. It's funny, like, this sounds so silly, but, I don't have a good reason for being late, other than I got a little bit too caught up in Spider-Man. Like, I was watching the second Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, the one where he fights Electro, and I just got caught up in it, which is really funny because it's just like it's arguably not the best Spider-Man, but oh well, you know. But leave a comment on what your favorite Spider-Man is. Which that one, I that one's pretty good. Like that performance is really good. Tobey Maguire is always a classic, and then Tom Holland I'm really enjoying as like the new one. So, but. Yes, enjoying the last of the cold. It's been freezing here. Like it's been, it's literally been kind of like approximately 2 weeks worth of winter. Wow, like we had about I wouldn't say like 8 to 12 inches of snow here, and at first I was excited for it because I thought it was going to be like powdery, nice snow. But it was a bit of powdery snow, and then just this hard layer of ice on top. And I've literally like used like a pickaxe or a hoe to like try to break it apart. It's been a lot. So I'm glad it's gonna start to warm up a little bit soon, and hopefully that's gonna help with the melt. So oh, I've only watched the multi. That's the best one, the Miles Morales Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse one, 100%. That's the I do that one is actually. That one probably be my favorite because it's like that. It's just that's hands down the best Spider-Man movie. I can't think of a better one than that. So that's a really good pick, actually. So we watched from the same animation studio, K-pop Demon Hunters recently, and that was extremely good. Like that was a really like it was very charming, but also really funny. Really good movie. So oh my gosh. Anyway, it's definitely been with all the winter weather. A big movie watching season here, so, but and also shark watching in a weird way. There is. Let me see if I can find it. I downloaded a shark watching app. I know there's like the famous OSearch one, but OSearch is a little bit. We might have talked about it on the stream before. OSearch is a little questionable in terms of like some of their methodology in terms of like how they interact with white sharks. But there is also this app by the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy called Sharktivity. So I will put this in the chat. But this is actually a really cool app that shows you tracking on white sharks in the East Coast United States and kind of like how far they go. So they sample sharks or they tag sharks on the American East Coast, and they can track where they're going. They also include reportings on predation events. So specifically with seals, they will actually have photo records of like surviving seals or predation events where the seals did not survive. And it's actually a really interesting app because if you play at the settings, you can kind of see a white shark's activity pattern off this coast, and you can see that there's a huge concentration of them in Massachusetts, and that they start to kind of disperse a little bit as you get further south. But really, Massachusetts and the Gulf of Maine, there's a lot of them, and so it's a really cool app. And White Shark Conservancy, you know, their intentions are very much just about the conservation of the species and just educating kind of their habits. So I think it's really cool. I downloaded it recently, but I definitely recommend it. So Sharktivity, I will leave a link to it in the chat. But it's a really cool app to play with. So, but opposite of white sharks are the cute, small, rounded bullhead sharks. So I'm excited to revisit this family in this group of sharks. It's actually incredibly unique. It's a single genus of a single family of a single order. There's only a handful of bullhead sharks in the world. I want to say there's 10. We will check the most current count, which is on, funnily enough, Wikipedia, which is the best, easiest to access shark list, most updated shark list. List of sharks. Here we go. So as of today, 557 species. And when we go up to the bullhead sharks, which is heterodontiforms. Here we go. Heterodontiforms, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, okay, awesome. I hit the nail right on the head. Except for Heterodontus species X, which is a cryptic horn shark. So most of these I recognize. The only one that's kind of new to me is Heterodontus marshalli, the painted horn shark. Oh, look at that. That is really cool. So actually, since we don't have a lot of information on the Oman bullhead shark, I think it'll be kind of fun to take a quick tour of the whole order, just to see what each shark looks like. And then we'll take a look at some video footage of the different bullhead sharks. And we'll dive more specifically into the Oman bullhead shark. But this might be a little bit of a shorter stream. It depends on how much we'll be able to cover tonight. But let's get started with... this family is famous for having these big chonky heads with these flat molar-like teeth in the back, but these pointed teeth in the front. So it's a difference in teeth, which is where they get their name from, heterodontiforms. Hetero means different. Donti means tooth, like orthodontist. So all of them have this interesting jaw. They're also kind of unique in the sense that they are sharks that really like to be in rocky areas. They lay these unique egg cases that can they wedge. They actually pick up the eggs and wedge them into rock crevices as kind of like a way to survive, as part of their survival strategy. And they also all have spines. So these sharks and the squaliforms, like the dogfish, are the only sharks that have spines. I'm trying to make sure. Yeah, they're the only living sharks that have spines. So it's a really fun collection of animals. So we have the classic horn shark. This is, at least in, I feel like the two most well-known bullhead sharks are this species, the horn shark, and then the Port Jackson shark. So... Oh, oh, cool, Quackers! I got gifted an OSEARCH shark tracking bracelet once, but I never went through with getting the app. That was, that is really cool. Like the fact that they have a bracelet is cool. I used to have the app. I think before OSEARCH really took off, and then as time kind of went on, I started to gravitate a little bit away from it. So. They have the corkscrew eggs, right? Yes, they do. Great memory. So heterodontiforms have the corkscrew-shaped eggs. Depending on species, some of the shapes may be a little different, but horn sharks definitely have those corkscrew-shaped eggs, which they use to wedge into the seabed. So, beautiful photo of a horn shark. What's kind of fun is like when horn sharks are little, they have these like really pretty bright orange colors. They live in California. Baja California as well, so California and western coast of Mexico. When they're young, they have these like bright orange colors. As they get bigger and fatter and older, they start to kind of have more of a uniform, kind of like olivey gray color. This is a great shot of the jaws. Let's see if we could zoom in a little bit, where you could see the heterodontiforms, so the different teeth. So in the front you have these like this concentration of pointed teeth for picking things up or grabbing things, but in the back you can kind of see these broad flat teeth for crushing shellfish. So they really, really love shellfish. And it's a really interesting jaw set. Again, really interesting group of sharks. A little close-up of the teeth. Actually, the cusps are really interesting. How they're tricuspidate teeth. So those pointed teeth are actually pretty formidable. Like tiny, these are small sharks, completely harmless. But you don't want to be on the business end of that if you're like a little invertebrate like a crab. And then actually a really great shot of just how wide and flat these crushing molar form teeth are in the back. So really effective dentition. And what's there we go. That's a great image of a horn shark, a younger horn shark, really pretty, brighter orange coloration. You can see the prominent dorsal fin spine. I'm trying to get a better view so you can actually see it. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So yeah, you can see the dorsal fin spine there. There we go. Okay. Pretty sharp. So famously, these sharks, if they're ingested by other animals, including angel sharks, other animals bite down on the spine and immediately spit the shark back, the horn shark back out, because it's just very painful to get stabbed by one of these. What's really cool is that their fins even add another layer of camouflage, because these sharks like to live near kelp forest. And the fins are really broad and leafy looking, so they can blend in to their kelp forest environment really well. So a lot of great images of horned sharks. These are a really fun dive species, very, very popular with divers. And there is that egg case. So right on the money quackers as far as what the egg case looks like. So that's like 10 points for quackers. That's excellent memory, because shark. It's actually really cool that you can identify a species from the egg case shape. So, but really cool design as far as or just really cool form in terms of like how the eggs look. So. Oh, cool! I just saw your comment. Like Heterodontosaurus, they have the same jaw structure, pointing in the front, flat in the back. That is so cool. Good call. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I gotta look that up. Heterodontosaurus. It's been forever since I've heard that name. I used to really be into dinosaurs when I was a kid, and I gravitated more towards sharks. But Heterodontosaurus. That is so cool. I really want to just see by comparison the jaw set. Oh, you can actually see, you're right. You can see it here. Hold on. Look at that. So these like really intense looking incisor-like teeth in the front, and then these kind of like flat teeth in the back, like these peg-like teeth. That's so cool. Good call. So I'm gonna type in just for fun. Oh, I want to be a paleontologist in elementary school. It's not honestly same here. I mean, it's just like I paleontology and marine biology, they were kind of vying, and marine biology won out for me. But I'm just gonna type in Acrocanthosaurus. Was my favorite dinosaur when I was a kid, because it was not like the other dinosaurs. It just was like a little bit unique. It was a really cool theropod. Acanthosaurus. See if we can find it. There we go. It's a really cool theropod that has like a little bit of a higher back, kind of like Spinosaurus, but not as exaggerated. This I actually really like this interpretation here. Hold on, let's see if I can pull this up. Okay, that is a really cool. Really cool. I really like this version of it. I wish I could. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Okay. Sorry. Really like this image of, or this interpretation of Acrocanthosaurus. It's just super cool looking. Has a little bit of a higher, like not quite a sail like Spinosaurus, but kind of like a higher back. Cool. Diplodocus. Hold on. Let's look up Diplodocus. Diplodocus, the classic. What group of dinosaurs is Diplodocus? Because it is the. Oh, I remember this from Walking of Dinosaurs. Fantastic series. Yeah. That is so cool. I really should know what group of dinosaurs Diplodocus is. My brother-in-law would just be so upset that I don't know what this is. Cause like what sauropods, right? These are sauropods. So really, really cool shape where you have like this the long ones. Long necks for reaching up into trees, really long tails for balancing. I think they're called sauropods. Let me make sure I got that right. Sauropods. Because I think theropods are like the two-legged dinosaurs. There we go. It is sauropods. Aha! We did it. So sauropods are these four-legged dinosaurs with the long necks, and then the theropods are the two-legged dinosaurs that are like T-Rex and Spinosaurus. I'm sure the taxonomy of dinosaurs has changed significantly since the last time I took a closer look. It's been a while, honestly. So, oh, thank you, Dead Boys or Dr. Jaws. Thank you. So, great images of a horned shark. We'll move on to a new bullhead shark. Heterodontus galeatus, the crested bullhead shark. So really cool, a little bit of a different shape, a little bit of a smaller spine, stockier body, more prominent crest. That's another fun thing about this group of sharks is that they do have crests over their eyes, so that gives it kind of more of like a prehistoric shape too. So this species lives in Australia and actually could be found overlapping the range of the Great Barrier Reef. So that's actually really cool. Really pretty shark. Broad pectoral fins, very broad, equally sized dorsal fins, really cool prominent crests. And great image. This one is feeding on the egg of a Port Jackson shark. So this is actually kind of interesting image of a crested bullhead shark predating a Port Jackson shark's egg case. And Port Jackson shark is also a heterodontiform. So here's the a case of the crested bullhead shark, so very different from a horn shark, where it's like this, the basic corkscrew shape is there, but there's more, I guess we say like more ridges on the crested bullhead shark's egg case. So really cool. So, have we talked about the crested one before? I think it was the white spotty. So I can't remember if we covered the crested bullhead shark, but the white spotty that you're mentioning we have is the Galapagos bullhead shark. So really beautiful species, native to the Galapagos Islands. I hope they have a photograph of it on Wikipedia. Oh shoot, they don't. Let me see if we could just pull one up. Heterodontus galapagensis. There we go. There we go. So this is actually a really famous photo of this species here, but very pretty shark, like nice cream colored base with these like beautiful leopard spots all over its body. So it's a really, really pretty shark. There's a fun thing about this group of sharks, like the bullhead sharks, is that they have the same essentially basic body plan, but they have these like really cool myriad of colors. So it's a really fun group overall. Let's see who else we have here. Before we get to the Oman bullhead shark, we have the Japanese bullhead shark. So Heterodontus japonicus. Very tall dorsal fins relative to the body size. So unlike other bullhead sharks, just a little bit more of a commanding presence with the dorsal fins. Great to see that these are all three species we just covered are least concerned. So it's great to see that. Very prominent fin spines, especially on the second dorsal fin. Beautiful zebra stripes. Here's an interesting shot of one in the wild. Love their fat heads, by the way. They kind of like have this like kind of big, chonky, like almost like toad-like appearance. Like somewhere between a toad and a T-Rex. They have these like really like fat, wide heads, and it's just a really, really fun group of sharks. We talked about, we'll click on this again, the painted horn shark, just to get a better view of it. It's a beautiful species, and a relatively new one actually, so very prominent striping here. Really cool pointed pectoral fins actually. Really cool shape. And actually, kind of the killer spines on the dorsal fins too. So really, really fun shape for this group of sharks. bullhead shark in a parallel universe, I would love to kind of live in a bullhead shark's habitat because where I am on the East Coast, we don't have any. They are not native to the. I don't think they're anywhere in the Atlantic. Actually, I think they're all Pacific species. So it's an interesting group of sharks that are completely unique to the Pacific region. We have the Mexican horn shark, Herodontus mexicanus, which is really cool. Has a kind of a brown base with less spots than the Galapagos bullhead shark, but still spots. It can be found in Baja California, Mexico, Central America, and South America on the Pacific side. Great view of the jaw set here. And we'll go back. Smaller fins relative to body size, but really cool pattern overall. The fat toe Trex shark. Or fat toe T-Rex shark. I'll skip Oman Bullhead shark because that's our main species for tonight, so we'll cover the other ones really quickly first. We'll do Heterodontus zebra, the zebra bullhead shark. So this is kind of one of the more famous bullhead shark species. It's interesting that we've covered 3 that have a similar zebra stripe pattern. This one has a similar range too, except it can also be found in Indonesia and northern Australia, as well as Southeast Asia. So far, they're all least concerned. It's actually really cool to see that these sharks seem to be doing fairly well. This one is gorgeous. This is the white-spotted bullhead shark. This is a species we did cover just because it's so just unique looking. Just look at those, like, almost like primeval eyes and like that intricate pattern of these white spots with these like interesting dashes and marks and reticulations. It's so cool. It's a gorgeous shark overall. Very tall dorsal fins, prominent spines as well. Beautiful species that I'm really glad that we did devote a stream to. This species lives in the western Indian Ocean, so both in the Middle East and Eastern Africa. So really cool species. We talked about the Galapagos bullhead shark. We've got the famous one, the Port Jackson shark. Heterodontus portjacksoni, so this is probably the poster child of the entire family. Port Jackson sharks are very well studied. They live in Australia and New Zealand. It's a really cute little face. Very large nostrils that kind of help as the shark is feeding on benthic prey and also sitting on the seabed, but still very strong jaws here. And just really cute faces overall. Pretty prominent crests. These are definitely younger individuals here. Beautiful, like, black. I guess you would call this like reticulation, or what do you call it? Chain cat sharks have a similar pattern, but just like really cool, like black black lines on the body, and then. Solid brown base on the back. Funnily enough, the Oman bullhead shark, which is tonight's species, doesn't have a photograph on Wikipedia, but I did have one up earlier. Where is this? There we go. So this is the Oman bullhead shark. So we have an illustration and a photograph. So the illustration, it looks quite similar to a Port Jackson shark, just a little bit more of actual like dark saddles and blotches on the body. And there is a photograph up here. So pointed fins, which is kind of interesting because bullhead sharks typically have, most of the species have the rounded fins, but these are actually a little bit more pointed. They're very large. The caudal fin is comparatively a bit on the smaller size. Elongated head with a dark band across the top of the head and the crest above the eyes, and dark band right above the gills as well. And I think tonight, or right now, we'll go ahead and learn what we can learn about the species. So key features is the head is large with broad crest over the eyes. First and second dorsal fins with spines about half the length of those fins. The first dorsal fin is slightly larger than the second dorsal fin, its origin over the inner margins of pectoral fins. Second dorsal fin, origin over pelvic fins and inner margins. 4 to 5 broad, dark saddles on body with a darker bar between eyes and a blotch under eyes. And the color pattern of hatchlings and juveniles unknown and may vary from adults. It can be found on continental shelf at depths of 72 to 80 meters, probably occurs on soft bottoms, and this is its range in the western Indian Ocean. So compared to other bullhead sharks, pretty. I mean, not too different of like not too large or too small of a range. Most bullhead sharks have more localized ranges. Another illustration of the species, kind of pointing out the key features. Data deficient, so we don't know a lot about the shark's conservation status. Oh, and maximum size, so here we go. Mature, or females mature at 61 centimeters, males mature at 52, and the max is at least 61, so these are pretty small sharks overall. So again, photograph of the species. So in comparison, they probably get to be about around 2 feet, maybe maximum size. Here's another photograph of the Oman Bullhead shark. Actually, there's quite a few here, so here we go. So unfortunately, this is a deceased specimen. Where the coloration is very faded. Pectoral fins still quite large, dorsal fins are a bit smaller. Really interesting view right down the throat of an individual here. So kind of interesting in-life view of how the teeth lay in the jaws. So in a natural state, you have the pointed teeth right at the front for grasping prey items, and then these molar-form teeth for look at this like how they all work together. Like imagine being like a mussel shell or a snail shell and just being crunched by that. Really effective dentition with a lot of musculature. So and these sharks are so interesting because they look very cute from a first glance, but then when you look at when you look at like just this from this view, you don't want to be on the if you were like again an invertebrate, you don't want to be on the business end of this. So I love these comments, Quackers. Heterodontus sharkosaurus. Is the red on the back fins just a part of the design or damage? It probably is damage. Let's see. We'll check that. I think you might have been referencing this. So I think it's probably specimen damage. So on the back fins here, these are actually the claspers. So these are the male reproductive organs for sharks. So this is a male individual, but unfortunately, this I think like right after capture, you can see a lot of stress on a shark, and if there's like red areas, regardless of the shark's main color. If there's red areas, it typically means the shark was stressed or damaged upon capture. So, yeah, but that's a good question, though. It's good to verify. So, let's see if there's any other photographs of the species. This one is relatively okay because this one is actually a little bit closer to life, and you can see just like really dark blotch on the cheek. And then these dark saddles too, and you can also kind of get a sense of like how small these sharks are. These sharks seem to keep like a lower profile. So, oh yeah, thought so. It seems like some really weird fins. I think we can. I think claspers, if I'm not mistaken, they technically are hyper modified fins. But they are very weird. Like I agree with that. So Many sharks don't have them, and many sharks do. So, um, let's see. So for fish-based heterodontus, I think I already explained the origin. Hetero means different. Dontos means tooth, referring to pointy teeth for clutching prey at the front of the jaws, and then different than the rounded molar-like teeth in the back for grinding hard-shell invertebrates. Omensis is Latin suffix denoting the place, which is the Gulf of Masira, central Oman in the Arabian Sea, which is where the first specimen was discovered in 2005. 72 to 80 meters is on the kind of like the middle end of the sunlit zone, so a little bit deep for scuba divers, but still in a zone that, or in an area that gets enough sunlight. Let's see. The only known name is the Oman Bullhead shark. Let's see, I'm just kind of skimming through to see if there's any information on the species. So here we go. Collections from Oman and Pakistan, near the Gulf of Oman. I did want to cross-reference this with our lovely map of marine ecoregions of the world. So I'm going to post this in the chat too. I love this tool. This is a really cool way to... oh, did I do this right? There we go. This is a really cool way to check out different parts of the ocean. These are basic conservation units, habitats that operate in a way that is like each ecoregion is kind of like a somewhat unique unit where there's like a basic assemblage of habitat and animals and plants and physical factors that kind of make this region unique from other regions. So it's kind of cool to cross-reference the bullhead sharks range with the ecoregional or a map of the world's ecoregions. So here we go. So when you look at Oman, let's see, kind of off this place here, this would fit squarely in the Western Arabian Sea ecoregion. So Western Arabian Sea, which is part of the Somali Arabian province, and the Western Indo-Pacific realm. So this is a tropical area. I don't know much about the Somali Arabian province or the Western Arabian Sea, but Western Indo-Pacific is definitely tropical. And then comparing this to the southern coast of Pakistan, let's see. Looks like the shark is pretty close to the border. So it looks like the shark actually occupies both of these two ecoregions here. So we already have the Western Arabian Sea. It looks like the shark also has a range in the Gulf of Oman, which is in the Somali Arabian province, the same province. And Western India, which is part of the Western and South Indian Shelf province. So really cool to see that this shark, even though it has a relatively smaller range, it occupies 3 ecoregions, and each one is distinct and different. And there are different sources that kind of explain and go into detail. It depends which ecoregion you're looking at, but there are different sources that kind of explain like what makes each ecoregion different and what kind of animals and plants you can see. Here's a cool one that I know off the top of my head for North America. So, marine ecoregions of North America. Okay, so I'm going to post this in the chat too, but marine ecoregions of North America, I think this was published by EPA, but it's a map of all the ecoregions on this continent, and it also goes into a detail in terms of like why each ecoregion is different. So it's not quite the same as marine ecoregions of the world. There's a little bit, there's mostly overlap, and there's a little bit, mostly overlap, and a little bit of difference too. And I apologize, this was published by the Commission for Environmental Cooperation, so CEC. But let me post this in the chat, because I think ecoregions are extremely cool, and I also think they're a very valuable concept. So the idea is identifying what parts of the world are unique, and kind of like really highlighting that you have to, you really can't treat every part of the ocean the same. Like each area in the sea requires like a different approach, and it also kind of brings into focus like how valuable each area is. So when you get further into this document, I'm trying to get to a good example. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So it will have a map of an ecoregion. So we have this ecoregion right here. And we have the Bering Sea. So this is the Bering Sea ecoregion. And it will go into why the Bering Sea is unique. So it goes into detail. Like it's saying, for example, the Southeast Bering Sea consists of two fairly distinct upper trophic level species groups or guilds based on characteristics of feeding. The first group consists of outer shelf pelagic group of fish, mammals, and birds that consume small fish, primarily juvenile pollock and krill. The second group is an inshore group of fish, crabs, and other bottom-dwelling fauna that consume mainly benthic infauna. The outer shelf walleye pollock dominate the biomass and represent a keystone species in the system. So it's going to go into details like this, along with some really pretty images of wildlife that characterize each ecoregion. So it's super fun, and I'm sure there's other publications like this for different parts of the world. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure if there are publications for these three ecoregions. There probably are, but I shared the North America one because I know off the top of my head that that's one that is available. So I always think it's kind of cool to compare, getting back to the Oman Bullhead shark, where it lives with this ecoregion map, and just seeing what you can glean from that. So, but Oman Bullhead shark on the IUCN Red List is still considered to be data deficient. And let's see what makes this assessment the way it is. What makes a shark data deficient? And most bullhead sharks, again, are doing okay. But the Oman bullhead shark, Heterodontus omanensis, is known only from central Oman in Pakistan. Although information is limited on its habitat and ecology, based on known habitats of other Heterodontus species, it likely inhabits a rocky reef substrate, reducing its vulnerability to bottom trawl fisheries. So this is something super important because this actually is what's saving a lot of the bullhead sharks and why they are so successful as sharks, is that they escape a lot of fisheries activity. And in a lot of cases, at least with the Port Jackson shark, when fishermen catch them, they kind of look at them and they're like, nah, and they throw them back. So they're not really a desirable group of sharks, and this is part of why they are doing so well in terms of surviving. They don't rarely take the hook. They don't really get accidentally caught up in bycatch because of the way that they live. They live in these rocky areas and are able to avoid a lot of this pressure. So as we saw when we kind of toured the family and the order of bullhead sharks, a lot of them are actually least concerned, which is so encouraging. It's so encouraging to see that a group of sharks is actually doing okay. It's also very interesting to think about, natural selection and evolution. It's always about like what animals and what plants or what organisms are adapting to the challenges that are presented to them, and what organisms are best suited for whatever is happening in the world in terms of like climate or catastrophe or whatever. And in this day and age where we have humongous human impact, it's really interesting that it's really negatively affecting large sharks, and most sharks, but large sharks in particular, and yet small sharks that are able to reproduce quickly, or lantern sharks that are able to just stay in deep water and avoid a lot of human impact, or these bullhead sharks that are able to kind of sit tight in the rocky seabed and avoid a lot of trawling, these are doing actually pretty okay. So it is interesting to think about that. You can have these like really big, amazing, like fearsome sharks like tiger sharks, and tiger shark's not a great example, but like white sharks, bull sharks, both white sharks and bull sharks are vulnerable now. So white sharks, bull sharks, the hammerheads, these are like these really cool, like massive, intimidating looking sharks, but they're actually not doing as well as these small sharks. They're not coping with the human pressure as well as and this current age of the Anthropocene. They're not coping with it as well as the smaller sharks, which I think is really fascinating. similar to like dinosaurs, kind of bringing it all the way back to dinosaurs, like the top of the stream. Giant, incredible predators like T-Rex were not well suited for the catastrophe of the K2 meteor, whereas like small fuzzy little mammals, like shrew-like ancestors, like our shrew-like ancestors, were fine. Like they were able to kind of burrow underground, or they didn't really need or require as much energy or exposure as large dinosaurs, and they were able to survive and evolve into this current ecosystem, which is human, like heavily impacted by humans. So it's just super interesting to see how all this change happens. So but anyway, however, there are trawl caught records of the species and is a potential bycatch of demersal line fisheries operating within its range, although no specific information is currently available. More information is required in its biology, abundance, and full range, capturing fisheries and population trends. While the limited number of individuals recorded to date may suggest the species occurs in areas not fished heavily, there's currently insufficient information at assesses how fisheries in the region are interacting with the species, and as such, it assesses data deficient. So it's nice to see this is kind of more like a cautionary assessment where we just don't have enough information. This would be a really good shark to study in terms of trying to find more information. Let's see. I love this. Yeah, the dino babies are so resilient. I mean, they are like these little mini dinosaur headed sharks are they really are doing okay, which is kind of cool. It's cool to see that. Quick tour of how these animals move, by the way. So we've got some great footage of a Port Jackson shark swimming in Sydney. So these sharks are super safe. They're very friendly and very fun to dive with. And it's really cool that they just like to sit, like chill out, sit down in a rock crevice or sit out in the seabed, and they can actively pump water over their gills as they take a rest. So really cool sharks. It's so cute to see their big boofy heads. And like look at that actually. Where this is adorable. Look at that. What a dive experience to be with a baby bullhead shark that's just kind of sniffing at your gloves. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. That's adorable. Let me rewind a little bit. I'm getting quite obsessed with this baby shark. So I said it. If anyone's watching, I said baby. Said it. No, I said it. It is baby shark. But there's a really good shot right here. Look at this. What an interesting survival technique in terms of imagine like bottom trawling being such a destructive practice that's like scouring the seabed and collecting all these crabs and plants and crabs and kelp and all these things and kind of ravaging the environment. But fishermen don't want to dredge rocky areas because it's going to screw up their nets, right? And it's kind of amazing and really cool to see that this is like a slab of rock that a fishing vessel doesn't want to go near, and these sharks are taking shelter within it, and they have this unique adaptation, this unique strategy where they're just able to sit here and chill out and avoid that kind of pressure. It's really cool. It's a brief shot, but it's really cool to see that. Not a lot of sharks can do this, and not a lot of sharks like this. Many sharks are free swimming and need to keep swimming in order to breathe. But Port Jackson sharks are fine. They can sit on the seabed and do buccal pumping and actively pump water over their gills. There's only a handful of sharks that actually are okay doing that. So off the top of my head, we have nurse sharks do that. White-tip reef sharks do that. Some dogfish do that. But and cat sharks, all the cat sharks do that, or most of the cat sharks do that. But a lot of sharks that are classics that we know very well, like white sharks and hammerheads and sharp-nosed sharks and like whale sharks, they have to keep swimming. So some more bullhead sharks to see. So another cool clip of a Port Jackson shark enjoying this rocky kelp forest environment. So, or rocky reef with some kelp here and there, some sponges. Nice view of the dorsal fin spine, and actually a really cool view of a shiver of sharks. So a group of sharks is actually called a shiver. It's kind of an antiquated term, so you could say a school of sharks, but shiver of sharks is actually the correct term, like the correct English term. Great shot of a Port Jackson shark egg case. And I appreciate that the diver put it back in a corkscrew-like way, because that's what the case is designed for. It's meant to be wedged into these rocky reef habitats so as not to be dislodged. That is so cool. What a really cool shark to dive with. Just, again, very calm, very just inoffensive, just completely harmless. Just beautiful, beautiful sharks. Just to share the sea with. I'll take one more look at a clip and then we'll kind of move forward with some more science. But here is a crested horn shark. So we talked about this species briefly, but this is a shark with prominent crests above the eyes. That's such a fun profile too. So you really get that kind of dinosaur head, like that T-Rex head, with this particular species of bullhead shark. And you can actually see why they get their English name bullhead shark is kind of just from these crests. You know, like from like just looking straight at it head on does kind of look like a bull a little bit, or like a cow, just with that big boxy head and those like prominent ridges, almost resembling bull horns. Super cute. Alright, so let's see what we can learn about the Oman Bullhead shark. There's probably not going to be a lot of information, but let's see what we can see. So we have a little snippet right here from I think this is an FAO guide. So Heterodontus omanensis. Actually, we have it on the plate too. So no local names, presumably on soft bottoms down to 80 meters. Dorsal fins with spines. Fins tip of dark brown or blackish. Blotches. 4 to 5 broad dark saddles. White apical spots. Let's see if we can get any more information here. This is the same image from FishBase, unfortunately, so not a new image. And I think this is a regional guide for, I want to say this is probably the Indian Ocean. Kind of cool to see what else lives here. So we've got a bramble shark, a Conroe-Nicholls brucus, a pelagic thresher, Alopius pelagicus, big eye thresher, Alopius superciliosus, short fin mako shark here, a kind of carpet shark, I should know this one, Chilasculium griseum, a hound shark, Iago, the whale shark, Ringodon typus, so there's a baby whale shark right here, another hound shark, Musculus moses, a weasel shark, Hemipristis elongata. So if Howard's watching, this is a cousin of snaggletooth sharks, a really cool group. And I think that's... oh, nope, there's more. Oh, Carcharodontis amblyrhynchoids. I really should know what this is. I think this is a graceful shark. Let me double check. Okay, rhynchoids is a graceful shark. Rhynchos is a gray reef shark. So that was rhynchoid. So this is a graceful shark right here. This one always throws me off. But anyway, it's kind of cool to see like the ocean that the Oman bullhead, like the sharks that share the ocean with the Oman bullhead shark. Silky shark, Carcharodontis falciformis. A black tip shark. Carcharodontis malcati, I'm not sure what kind of shark this is, but this is a cousin, it's the same family, it's a kind of requiem shark. We have oceanic white tips here. Carcharodontis is another smaller cousin. The sicklefin lemon shark, Nicoprion acutidens. A sharp-nosed shark of some kind. Actually, two sharp-nosed sharks. And then the scalped hammerhead Serena illuminate, beautiful tall dorsal fin here. So really cool habitat. So a lot of classic warm water species. Most of them free swimming, with a couple of reef dwelling species and one deep water species here in the form of the bramble shark. Let's see. Just scanning through for more Oman bullhead shark information. So this is actually a nice. It's actually a nice side view of an Oman bullhead shark. This is kind of a preserved specimen. Male specimen here. Let's see. Just notes about its color, not really anything else, so we'll kind of move on. Let's see. Okay, the Oman bullhead shark is known only from central Oman and Pakistan, although information is limited on its habitat and ecology based on known habitats of other heterodontus species. It likely inhabits a rocky reef substrate, reducing its vulnerability to bottom trawl fisheries. However, there are trawl-caught records of the species as a potential bycatch of demersal line fisheries operating within its range, although no specific information is currently available. More information is required on its biology, abundance and full range capture in fisheries, and population trends. So again, really great species to study. It'll be really great to learn more about the species because clearly there's really not a lot of information on it. While the limited number of individuals recorded to date may suggest the species occurs in areas not fished heavily, there's currently insufficient information. This is actually a copy and paste from the IUCN Red List, so because this is typo again. But long story short, it's a species that requires more information, and actually, arguably, it's probably the least well-known bullhead shark species. So kind of cool that there's a lot to learn about this really fun group of sharks. So I think the last article we have is just an abstract from the morphology of the unique egg cases of horn sharks. And then I think we have a couple more bullhead shark clips, and we may wrap it up a little bit early tonight. Oh, sorry. Just because this is a really, really less well-known species. But if we are going to end soon, please let me know in the comments if there's a particular shark you would like to cover for next week. So for the past couple streams, I've been sort of doing these surprise species. But love to, and mostly because we've covered so many of the most charismatic ones already. That I think it's good to have a little bit of guidance, but please let me know if there's a group of sharks or a particular shark species you'd like to cover next week, and I'd be happy to check it out. I've been really excited to check it out, and especially since this is the 150th shark that we've covered, and there's still 400 to go, which is kind of wild to think about. 400 living sharks left. So, but I also think it's actually really cool that we've covered the most well-known sharks. We've covered the white shark, the tiger shark, the hammerheads, the makos, the basking shark, the whale shark. These are the ones that most people are familiar with, and it's actually really cool to see that they're by covering them and by having 400 species left. It's kind of an amazing reminder of how diverse sharks are and how little we really truly know about them, and really how comparatively weird white sharks and whale sharks and tiger sharks are. As far as all sharks go, as far as sharkdom, those are strange species. If you took the sum average of all the sharks in the world into what do you call it? What's the word? Your average, I think it begins with A. There's a word that's the archetypical. There we go. Your archetypical shark is going to look like a deep water animal that's pretty small, kind of on the smaller side. Probably has spines. It probably looks something like a lantern shark. So it's really cool to see that kind of through this project and this exercise. In a weird way, it's kind of showing how unusual the sharks that get the most media attention are. As far biologically, those sharks are very strange. They there's no other shark that really handles things like like there's no other shark that's like this warm-blooded seal eater like a white shark, or like this giant plankton feeder like a basking shark or a whale shark. There's really those are really weird anomalies in the shark world. So it's kind of cool to see that based on and in weird ways seeing the bias in a lot of shark media against really what the normal sharks are. So kind of interesting stuff to think about. So. But we'll read this abstract, and if we can't pick a shark, I will do another surprise species for next week. But we'll do this abstract and then look at a little bit more footage, and we might end a little bit early tonight. So let's see. So morphology of the unique A cases of horn sharks. This is by Helen L. O'Neill, Kotaro Tokunaga, and then William T. White. Many of the A cases of oviparous chondrichthyans, so egg-laying sharks and rays, remain, and chimeras, I guess. I'm not sure how chimeras reproduce, but they are chondrichthyans. Remain unknown and undescribed in literature. A cases could be a useful taxonomic character for species distinction and can be a valuable indicator of a species distribution in the field. In a study, the A cases for 9 of the 10 nominal species of Heterodontus are described and compared, and the terminology and methodology for studying them are standardized. Heterodontus egg cases are distinct and easily identifiable from other oviparous egg cases by having a unique corkscrew shape. So again, quackers, you're absolutely right that the corkscrew shape is something distinctive for this group of sharks, so excellent memory. Formed by a pair of lateral keels spiraling along its length. Heterodontus egg cases range between 7.5 and 14.5 centimeters in egg case length, and 3.7 and 8.5 centimeters in egg case width at the mid portion, and have 0.75 to 4 complete rotations. Morphometric measurements of each egg case from the 9 species were subject to multivariate analysis, with unique characters enabling distinction between them. Egg cases can be separated into 3 morphotypes: the wide keels lacking tendrils group, the narrow keels with tendrils group, and the wide keels with tendrils group. The A case of Heterodontus ramalhira remains unknown. So actually, it looks like we get the whole study. So I won't read everything verbatim, but I will kind of zoom in on anything anything that's interesting or relating to the Oman bullhead shark. So let's see. A cases of egg-laying sharks, rays, and chimeras are diverse in their shape and form. Their uniqueness provides valuable taxonomic characters for species distinction and identification. Let's see. A collection of undecidable A cases in 1983 laid the foundations for the discovery of new species, the ridge A cat shark, Aposturus ovicorrugatus. Similarly, 3 empty A cases collected in Antarctic seas were used to describe the dark-mouthed skate, Bathiraja arctowskii, or arctowskii. So this is actually a really cool study. We haven't really seen this before, where it's basically talking about how A cases are very important for understanding species, identifying species, and understanding their biology overall. Let's see. There are currently 10 recognized nominal species of Heterodontus, which we've all covered at the top of the stream. The Oman bullhead shark is from the northwestern Indian Ocean. A case specimens came from various sources, including those laid by captive females at Ibaraki Prefectural Orari Aquarium in Japan and Seahorse World, Beauty Point, Australia. I would love to look these up, actually. Hold on. I'm particularly curious about Seahorse World. So here's the aquarium in Japan where they collected bullhead shark egg cases. I wonder if I can get, let's see. Sharks in Aqua World. Oh, here we go. Look at that. So apparently 60 species of sharks are in this aquarium. So we got Sarawaksil shark, speckled carpet shark. Interesting names for. So this is a tawny nurse shark here. We got bullhead sharks. So we have the crested bullhead shark. We have tiger sharks in this aquarium. Wow. Interesting. Horn shark. Japanese bullhead shark. They have actually a lot of these. The Port Jackson shark, the zebra bullhead shark. So interesting. What a collection. We got some wobegons. Some carpet sharks. Epaulette sharks. Wow. Nurse sharks, zebra shark, sand tiger shark, coral cat shark. It's really an amazing aquarium. Wow. More cat sharks. Oh my gosh. White shark, hound. That's not a white shark, sorry. That's a, Muscles grizzlies. That's a smooth hound of some kind. Black tip shark. Wow, spinner shark. White tip reef shark, lemon shark. So, yeah, really cool aquarium in Japan. Seahorse World in Australia. Let's see what they have. I always think it's really cool to just kind of like take a look at different public aquariums. Tasmania's Seahorse World. Really cool little frogfish in the corner here. Let's see. Just want to take a quick look to see if there's a way to see the animals. It looks like it's seahorse focused, so it seems like the sharks here are kind of taking a backseat to the seahorses, but it looks like the bullhead shark does live here. So anyway, sorry, kind of a fun little tangent. I was really interested in seeing how these aquariums function, so pretty interesting. So let's see. Heterodontus omanensis. So the Oman Bullhead shark's egg case was removed from a female holotype collected from the Arabian Sea. So okay, that makes sense. So this shark actually, our shark, was not captive. It actually was a wild shark from the Gulf of Masira. So. This is methods on how to measure an egg case. So this is how they measure a rotation. Or one rotation versus 1.5 rotations. We won't get into the nitty gritty of this. But really cool study, just kind of seeing like how these little nuances do matter, and they can provide hints as to like where like are these like tendrils helpful for clinging on to like kelp versus seagrass versus a rock. It can reveal a lot about a shark's habitat preference, which is interesting. So, all right, here we go. So these two figures, figure A and B, this is a horn shark's egg case here. So really beautiful. This is the crested bullhead shark here. Here is a Japanese bullhead shark's egg case. This one, I forget the name of the common name for this species, but Heterodontus marshalli, I think is a newer species. Mexican bullhead shark here. Pretty tight spirals here. And then here we go, our bullhead shark. So Heterodontus omanensis. So this is the A case of our shark, which is actually extremely interesting. It just looks like it has one or two spirals with a lot of tendrils. So it indicates perhaps that this species lives near an area with a lot of foliage, where the tendrils are trying to maximize hooking onto something on the seabed, is my guess, but let's see. For the Oman bullhead shark, it's a medium-sized heterodonted A case, lateral keels making 3/4 rotations from interior to posterior ends, surface is smooth, interior margin broad, slightly S-shaped when viewed from anterior plane. These are just detailed descriptions of the case. Color golden brown when preserved, so this is again what it looks like. Very pretty. We have the Port Jackson shark's A case here, very triangular shaped. Heterodontus quioi, I forget which one this is. I think it's a zebra bullhead shark, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh no, this is zebra bullhead shark, Heterodontus zebra. Actually, it's kind of interesting. Zebra bullhead shark's A case looks similar to the Oman bullhead sharks. Here is a multivariate study where they're trying to group the bullhead sharks together. So, in terms of what is most to least similar, so we've got our shark, Heterodontus omanensis, over here. So it's kind of close to the zebra bullhead shark and Heterodontus marshalli. So these seem to be kind of in this area here, just distinct from, a little bit different from these other bullhead sharks like the horn shark. They have a dichotomous key. Interesting. Let's see. So I'm gonna focus on our Oman bullhead shark, just some information on it. Similarly, the Heterodontus omanensis, the Oman bullhead shark, is only known from a small number of specimens, but luckily the holotype was a gravid female. A case has been removed and retained, was described by Baldwin in 2005. Let's see. It's considered the narrow-keeled with tendrils formed. So just kind of like really specific differences, or very specific features of the A cases, which we don't need to go into detail. There we go. Okay. Heterodontus marshalli occurs in the outer continental shelf and upper continental slope at depths of 125 to 230 meters. The Oman bullhead shark occurs in tropical waters at depths of 72 meters. Very little is known about the biology of these two species. The A cases of H. marshalli and H. omanensis have not been observed in the wild, but based on their similar morphology to the zebra bullhead shark, it is assumed that they attach their A cases in a similar fashion, attaching their A cases to sessile macroinvertebrates or to other structures by their long tendrils. So, very cool. So it looks like they attach their A cases to like maybe whelks. So macroinvertebrates would be like a whelk, or like a or maybe even like maybe oysters. I guess truly sessile would be oysters, like invertebrates that don't move. So maybe even clams, like giant clams. So attaching the A cases to invertebrates like that, or to other structures like pilings or rocky reefs with the long tendrils. So really interesting. And I love that we don't know much about the Oman bullhead shark, but the shape of the A cases is very similar to the zebra bullhead shark. So you can kind of get a rough estimate of what it might be doing, which is interesting, based on what the zebra bullhead shark is doing, which is really cool. Species with narrow keels and tendrils, like the Oman bullhead shark, are restricted to the Indo-West Pacific, whereas A cases with large keels are found throughout the western and eastern Pacific. So that's interesting. The collection of AK specimens of the lesser known species, like the Oman bullhead shark and unknown Heterodontus ramalhira, and their curation of biological research collections would be highly beneficial for further taxonomic and morphological studies. So again, it's a great shark to probably do some research on. So, all right. So kind of a big mystery shark. There's really not a lot on the Oman bullhead shark. But I appreciate in that study with the A cases, it really kind of comes back to when you don't have research information, you can kind of maybe get a baseline on how similar species live. And from there, you can start to kind of maybe develop a series of hypotheses and test them against the known species, like a zebra bullhead shark, and see how well or poorly they line up to how the Oman bullhead shark is doing. So it's kind of, or how the Oman bullhead shark lives, after you observe in the wild. So again, it's really a mysterious species. It's probably the least well-known bullhead shark, so it'd be really cool to see future scientists study it, and I'm excited to learn more about it. In lieu of a Oman bullhead shark, we do have footage of similar species. So we have the Japanese bullhead shark here. So we'll just take a look at this and one other bullhead shark species, and then I think we'll call it a night with another mystery shark surprise for next week. But really cool to see the beautiful camouflage of baby bullhead sharks, especially this baby Japanese bullhead shark. You can actually see it in action here, where you can see the tall dorsal fins, which intentionally do look like fronds of kelp swaying in the current. And you can immediately see, I don't know if the resolution is good enough here, but you can immediately see shrimp gravitating towards this little shark who's just sitting on the seabed. And the camouflage is so effective that it helps the shark either hide from predators or probably get an easier meal by scooping something up that may mistake it for kind of like a part of the seabed. So the coloration on this Japanese bullhead shark is beautiful too. So it's really cool to see the stripes and how they actually indicate that it probably lives in a shallow water environment, because it probably mimics water, like how water and sunlight ripple across the back of an animal, or the back of a seabed. So it's beautifully, exquisitely camouflaged animal here, and very cute on top of that too. So I love that the shrimp, and I hope you can kind of see it, but I really love that the shrimp, acclimate to this species or this individual. They're very comfortable spending time around it, because I think they're fooled by the camouflage overall. So, and probably when these sharks get bigger, their dorsal fins probably proportionally get a little bit smaller. So, and they're probably exaggerated in this delicate juvenile phase right now. One last clip with the classic Port Jackson shark. So this is kind of the poster child, flagship shark of the family. So really cool to see this as an adult individual just kind of chilling out in these rocky crevices. And again, this is something that helps this group overall. The fact that they can enter these sea caves and just spend time in them, it shields them from fishing pressure. They're packed in there, good and tight, and it actually really does help them resist bottom trawling. And I hope that the Oman bullhead shark has a similar kind of survival strategy and is similarly least concerned like its cousins, because it's really encouraging to see that most of the bullhead sharks are actually doing just fine. They're actually doing pretty okay in a world where a lot of sharks are threatened. These sharks tend to be pretty well off. So, well, I think that's it for tonight, but I know it's a bit of a shorter stream, but I think this species, it's just an indicator of how little we know about this particular species and how much there is to learn, and look forward to revisiting it again in the future when we do learn more about it. But I hope you enjoyed watching this episode, and it's cool to cover another bullhead shark. We've already covered, I want to say, 4 so far on the channel, so it's nice to add one and get closer to completing that group. Last year we completed the lamniforms, and this year it might be the year that we complete the heterodontiforms. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, hope everybody has a good rest of your week, and depending on where you're on the country, hope you stay warm. I think it's supposed to hopefully warm up a little bit this week. But next week we will cover a new shark species with hopefully a lot more information, and it's also going to be another mystery shark. So part of this early 2026 mystery shark series. But until then, take care, guys. Hope you have a good one, and I'll see you soon next week for a mystery shark. Have a good night. Bye.